Hey y'all, welcome to Some Society's Into a Tea every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to be going over some space weather. You have me, Misako. I am your chaos void moon ground, whatever the crap that means, matron of all things mystical. And I am joined by my co host, Miss Bonnie Sunshine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just take a moment to have a breath, drop into the body, be with what is here in your system, and allow yourself to fully arrive. Getting the message for everyone to also hydrate. Make sure you're drinking whatever fluid is calling your system, your body, your soul, to allow yourself and your guides to all be here with us today. We want to start off today a little differently with a check-in. So we'd love for you, whether you're live or watching the replay, to use the chat and give us one word of what you're experiencing as you arrive today. This is the invitation for you to be in both commune with yourself and with the community, to share your heart, your soul, your system, and Miss Mom.
So, we've got some messages in the comments right now. One of them says nervous, and I am also feeling nervous right now. I would like to talk about the energy that's going around. We've had two US citizens, in my opinion, executed. Um, and that's some really heavy stuff. I looked at a list and I think they were like Alex Pretty was the 11th person to be killed. And this is some heavy stuff. And we're one of the things that Bonnie and I discussed when we decided to do Somme Society was that everything is welcome here. Because what is happening in our external world uh, can also reflect what's happening in our external world. Did I say internal and external? I don't know. They're mirrors of each other, essentially. So I don't want to close a blind eye to what is happening right now. And I don't want to bypass the heaviness that is being felt. And also, it's so important to me to be able to bring, you know, a little bit of illumination to what's happening right now, and also to bring hopefully a little bit of grounded practice to how to deal with some of this energy, this big, huge transformations that we're going through and transitions we're going through. We also have somebody saying that they're feeling a little disconnected to self and grounded as well. So, do you want to speak to that, Bonnie?
Yeah, when I was tuning into um, the field and this opening that we're doing, I started to feel like I didn't have the ability to connect to different parts of my body. So it was a little bit like disassociation. And then when I tune back in, I do feel very grounded, but um, it's, I don't know if I'm feeling someone else or just what's happening in the world. Um, they both feel okay and easeful, but it was very weird to have the sort of floaty, disassociative, not connected to self, as well as my groundedness.
It's funny that you're bringing that up because that's literally what all the space weather is about, like these past 2 weeks. Literally, is we are moving from this like airy fairy to this very grounded feeling. So I feel like, I'm a scuba diver. So there's a point where you are scuba diving and there's this thing called the like this thermocline, and there's also like a halocline where you can see where the hot water and the cold water are meeting, and it's almost like this line. And that's what this feels like, is we're moving from one to the other, so there's this kind of line where things get a little murky. So I
Mm,
do, yeah.
that's really interesting. Yeah, so I'm wondering if people, those of us live and then watching, can you feel that line and where you are in association with that, both for yourself and what's around you?
Yeah. I know for me, I absolutely can.
Mhm.
Like it's very, very, very clear. Like I can feel that kind of washing machine effect. I call it the washing machine effect, where things are kind of like,
Yeah.
you know. It's also I want to bring up, there's another post in chat as well that somebody is feeling hopeful, you
Um,
know. Yeah.
yeah.
I want to kind of stick a flag in that. I want to like claim that, right? That hope. One of the things with us as light workers is, for me, I'll speak for myself, is that I constantly, have made it a practice, and it's become an embodied thing, that the trust that everything is for the highest good.
Mm,
Everything is for the highest good. And that I know when things like through my tantra work and stuff, when things get really nasty and really bad and really fucking terrible, and that there's a breaking that happens, that on the other side is some of the most incredible, beautiful things I've ever seen. Right. But you just kind of have to make it
mm.
through it. Right. There's that saying that, can't, you got to go through.
The only way out is through. Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because that's not the exact quote. It's that quote I think is from, was it Strangers or something? I have to look it up again.
Mm.
Um,
Maybe
it's
I don't know.
actually, yeah, it's actually from a poem, that actual quote. Uh, the only way out is through. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I had it up in here.
I want to amplify what you were saying about the beauty and beautiful as well.
Mm.
Like, do we take that in? Do we allow ourselves to fully be in that beauty or notice where we are in relation to that? That was specifically about hope. Yeah. Everybody just take a breath into that.
So I found it. It is by Robert Frost, and it's in a poem called "A Servant to Servants." And the actual quote is, "The only way out, or the only way out is through, or the best way out is always through." So I
Mm.
haven't actually read this poem. It's a pretty long one. I was thinking that maybe I would read it, but it's fucking long, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm kind of seeing. I'm going to just stop in one section and read a little portion. And if anybody wants to go and Google it and look it up, um, they can. Are you okay with that, Bonnie?
Yeah, I'm gonna fix my electronics, so I'll be right back.
Okay. And all our storms come up toward the house, drawing the slow waves wider and wider and wider. I took my mind off donuts and soda biscuit to step outdoors and take the water dazzle. A sunny morning, or take the rising wind about my face and body and through my wrapper. When a storm threatened from the dragon's den and a cold chill shivered across the lake, I see it's a fair, pretty sheet of water. Our Willoughby, how did you hear of it? I expect, though, everyone's heard of it. In a book about ferns. Listen to that. You let things more like feathers regulate your going and coming, and you like it here. I can see how you might. but I don't know. It would be different if more people came, for then there would be business. As it is, the cottages Len built, sometimes we rent them, sometimes we don't. We have a good piece of shore that ought to be worth something and may yet. So, for whatever reason, I was called to share that specific, portion. I was, I don't know. I'm going to read through this whole thing because I'm really interested in where that kind of tags in. So we've had a little bit of time and spaciousness. Do you want to drop into space weather and see what we got going on here, you guys?
Yes, I was feeling called to pick up the animal spirit.
Cool. I love
Deck.
that one. Gosh, her
Some,
her decks are so great. She was actually my first Oracle deck. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's go into weather, you guys, especially with what's going on right now. We've got Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So this is literally happening. It's the strongest of it is going to be from the 26th to the 31st of January. And this is literal like mosh pit energy. Like it is straight up feeling like you got thrown into a fucking mosh pit. It is all about revolution. It's about shadow work around ambition and control. It's death and rebirth cycles at like large scales, though, really large scales. So, if you think about, it's so beautiful. I love this portion, and this is a timestamp portion probably is I'm a metalhead. I love metal. I have hung out in, mosh pits for a very, very long time. Even now into this age, I still go and will still go to metal shows occasionally. And one of the things that I fucking love about mosh pits is there's this general perception of how like dangerous they are and how scary they are. And I hear people be like, "Oh, I would never do that," right? It's like one of those weird extreme sports. The thing is in a mosh pit, it is one of the safest places I have ever been because we all have agreements and it's an unspoken agreement and unspoken words and rules that exist inside of mosh pit and the community holds each other. So if you're in a mosh pit and you're raging, you're going nuts, and then all of a sudden you slip and fall down, which happens a lot, you will have so many arms to pick you up in an instant. It happens so quickly because safety is so key in those spaces. And it's this unspoken thing. Also, if a bad agitator comes into a mosh pit and they're not following like the collective mosh pit's rules, those motherfuckers get taken out pretty damn quickly. So, even though I hear like Mars conjunct Pluto being in Aquarius is this mosh pit energy, for me, that's exciting. That's a great thing because it means the community is coming together to fight, right? And we're seeing this happen politically. We're seeing this happen all across the US. We're seeing Minnesotians come together in incredible ways to support their communities. And that's what to me mosh pit energy like really comes in at is it's communities supporting each other and themselves and just knowing you just know what you're supposed to do. So what I'm getting when
hmm,
I was downloading this information was the real question is how will you show up? How will you decide to show up? Really big question to be asking yourself right now. Yeah. For me, I'm showing up by signing petitions to keep ICE out of Austin, which is where, I purchased my home at. I'm voting. And I also plan on calling some of my senators later today and tomorrow. So that's how I'm showing up. And also by doing this kind of stuff so I can work on both the 3D and the spiritual realm of resistance. So, yeah. What about you, Bonnie? What you got coming in? Swan
hmm.
spirit. Time for a deep dive.
So I was asking the cards or spirit, like, what more do we need to know? and the dog dropped
Mm.
out, you
Wow,
know?
be loyal to what you love. Dog spirit, be loyal to what you love, right? Like that's the thing. And I'm not going to speak for one side or the other. Like I will say I am liberal as fuck. And also, if you just totally support what's happening now, you can be loyal to it. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna give you shit about that. Ant spirit, time to collaborate. There's that clip. Do you remember that movie Ants?
Yeah, I watched it maybe like a year ago and I was like, this is such a great movie.
It really is. It's like it's about all these ants, and these grasshoppers are like stealing all these ants' food and like, threatening them and messing with them. And then like at the end of the movie, I'm going to totally spoiler you if you haven't seen it, but still go see it if you haven't. It's literally like the ants realize that if they stand together, they can fight the grasshoppers. And that's where we are at, you guys. Like this is
Mm,
where we are at. So whatever way that you feel like you need to be loyal, and you need to dig deep, like find it, stick with it, and go with it. Because we need action right now. Oh, and guess what? It's the next part of this weather. Oh, it's all about fucking action. So I was talking to Bonnie about this before we came on live, and this transit is going to be happening for the next 13 years, you guys. 13 years. So we're looking at Neptune going into Aries right now. And what that is that is all about action. It is all about activation. This is like Aries is very independent action, right? So, what are you choosing to do? What are you going to do? I'm getting told by Bonnie psychically right now to take a breath. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder, my love. This is all about mystic warrior dreams, right? And like that, like mystic warrior, that like we hear that sometimes, like spiritual warrior. What does that even fucking mean? Right? If you're going to be a spiritual warrior, what does that even fucking mean? You want to answer that, Bonnie? Because you look like you're going to crack up and I got a cough. So,
Uh, for me, spiritual warrior is about doing the thing that feels the most uncomfortable for myself and the most aligned. Like when I feel that nervousness of when I think about doing something either for the first time or renewing, that nervousness is telling me that I'm going in deep and I'm doing the thing that is most needed for myself as well as the collective. And and there's so much more than that, but that's yeah, my legs are vibrating. That was like the main point that wanted to come through.
I love it. For me, Mystic Warriors, I do it every night in my dream space. I do it every night in my liminal space. Like I am out there fighting on the front lines. Yeah, so many of you are so multidimensional, and as you continue on this path, you will start to realize how multidimensional you truly are. And when I say multidimensional, I can literally tap in and see where I am a watcher watching myself right now from a spacecraft. I can feel myself in a rock right now. I can feel other lives or what we call past lives throughout all time and space. Like you will start to really realize how multidimensional you are. So I can tell you as like a mystic warrior, I'm busy. Like this bitch ain't like taking it light, like at all. Like she is busy, 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 and all aspects of my multidimensional being are online and are working for the greater good of humanity and for the greater good of this planet and this universe and all of consciousness. Like, I have no other choice. Like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So, keep on this
Hmm.
path and you'll get to start seeing some really cool stuff, guys. Just saying. So, with that, with the Neptune into Aries, we've also got dreams moving towards action. So if you've got a dream, awesome. How are you going to get there? This is what I like to call the architect phase. Like go into your architect phase and start figuring out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to, and if anything feels like, you know what, it's too much, there's no way I can do it, man, be solution oriented. Stop, breathe into it, feel that overwhelm, and then be like, you know what, I can take one small step. What is a small, tiny thing I can do to get to where I want to go, to get me closer to that dream? This is how quantum leaping happens. Like it's so
Mhm.
funny because when we hear quantum leap, Bonnie, I feel like people think that quantum leaping is just going like from one thing, taking this huge step to another thing. That's not the actual fucking definition of what a quantum leap is, dude.
Mhm. That's
Like,
so interesting that you
yeah,
would say that. Yeah. Tell me
because
more.
so quantum leap is where you go from seemingly point A to point B with no travel in between. None. You just, boom, you're there. It's like Genie, right? It's like Genie being like, bing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what an actual quantum leap is. So if you start making your own steps, right? If you have the perception that you're making a step in this world, that's how you can quantum leap. And it's
Mm.
wild how it happens.
It's kind of like I'm just seeing a light bulb come on. You know, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be one spark of something that brings out a whole different illumination. So I had two cards pop out. Solitude, when you were talking about the genie, and passions ignited.
I'm cracking the fuck up because there was just a comment right before you pulled those cards that said, how would I make that step? Right
Yeah.
before those cards popped up. So can you give us more on those cards?
So when you were talking about not doing anything to make the leap, right? There's nowhere to go. That's when solitude popped out. This is the inner world. And when we're not able to listen to those impulses of the self, which are also impulses of spirit, we block everything potentially, right? If we're, yeah, all of my limbs are buzzing. So when we're denying the self, receiving the impulses of spirit, of life, of our own desires, then how can we receive the other things? Right? It's like the congestion and the constipation of all things get backed up when we block that. So it's really about being with the self
I also see the
and
tower
all.
back there. Sorry, I wanted to bring that other card back up because I see the
Yeah,
tower back
yeah,
there. And I think that's a really important distinction. Like seeing that, well, I guess it's more like a column, but it looked to me like the tower, right? And we think of like tower cards as like totally like, destroying things and massive upheaval. And also that solitude feels like a place to be sitting in when a tower moment's happening is what I'm getting.
yeah. Yes. So the message around this card is spirit, purple porter, passions ignited. It's the number one, your inner flame. Start with what you know. Start with where your passion is. It's just one tiny step. It is that yes. And if you don't have it, go back to listen to the inner,
To solitude.
to solitude.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look up which card this is. It's the Hermit
Of
card
course.
in the tarot.
Of course. It's one of my cards. I'm a hermit opportunist, so like I do love my hermit phases. So good. You want me to move on to the next portion? Awesome.
Yes.
So the next portion we're looking at is we are still in that Aquarius stellium, which is Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto all hanging out in Aquarius right now. And again, from last week and the previous weeks, Aquarius is all about the collective. We were talking about the song, like, this is the age of Aquarius. Yeah, that song right there. It is all about like the collective good, what is going to be happening for everybody. And it is the we, not the me. And it's interesting because we've got a lot of kind of like paradoxical energies working here, right? We've got like very highly individualized and very collective, and that's going to be showing up in some of the moons that are happening here soon too. This is also the Aquarius in that stellium is breaking free from outdated systems, like literally, like how do we break free from what systems are outdated? And this is a collective ask. This is a big collective ask. So that's what we're asking for right now. And the energy right now is asking, how do we move from me to we? Really important.
And I want to go back to what you were just saying to the other question is, how do we do that? So when we've never done something before, like stop going the old ways, this is how it showed up. So it
Let
is
me
the
let me read it
purple.
first. Foundation
Yeah.
and achievements. Okay, which showed up in the reverse. Foundation and achievements. It's
And
a
I don't usually talk about these in the reverse, this whole deck. So I
but
felt like there was something you were going to bring into that.
No, I am. So flip it back over because I'm
Yeah.
cracking up. Because so there's a picture of it looks like a family, a man, a woman, and a child, and they're standing in front of a house, and there's this rainbow over the house. But because it's come in reverse, they're literally being held in the hands of the rainbow, which Bonnie's actually holding her hand out, and I'm holding my hand out right now as well. So they are literally being held in this rainbow. So what I'm getting in that is again trust, uh, trust in the goodness. But the question was, let me tie this in because they're telling me to. Can you ask the question that you had asked earlier about how to do something or another?
How do we do the thing that we've never done before? How do we go from this way we've always been into the
Find
new thing?
find a seed of trust. Find your seed of trust. Like it could be the tiniest grain of sand. As long as you find one small seed of trust, you can grow that trust into bigger trust. So, if, say, I don't know, like us doing this, right? You and I making Somme Society and doing this specific, like podcast style, intuitive where we bring people in and they join us live and they can ask questions. We started with a seed, and I've been asking for this for years. And I trusted and I just knew that at some point everything would show up for this to happen. And then it just showed up. And I trusted myself to be like, hey, Bonnie, you want to do something together? And then Bonnie trusted herself to answer. Eh? And then this is where we have it. And then the next card Bonnie just pulled up was material harvest, right? And this is what comes of it. Like we are actually here now in the 3D. This started as a dream for me at least. Bonnie, it started as a dream for you too. You wanted to be doing something like this.
Yes. And this card is red, so it's the physical. So it is bringing things into the physical. So taking that seed and
which
walking
is
with the seed.
which is the foundation and achievements card that she was showing earlier with the rainbow and the family. And then we've got the material harvest happening as well. Man, there's some really like farming crop theme happening right now. Like what's going on with that? There's some like garden crop themes happening.
Yeah. And this feels like a garden.
Yo, bro, does
Like
bro have a bunch of stack of coins in front of him?
he does. He has all the things that he needs for his life force, his so there's money, there's water or drink, there's food, there's seeds to plant.
And there's an
or
emotional
crate.
security water bottle with him.
On
Smart
that
man.
note, drink.
Smart man.
Oh
Smart
my God.
man. Well,
And
yeah.
and this together is a four.
Of course, we've been having fours all over the place. They've just
I know.
it's a thing right now.
It's a thing for sure.
It's a thing. All right, let's go ahead. I want to clear up this space, whether to just like open up chat and open up for any questions that may come through in the etheric realm or in the chat. We have got a first quarter moon that just happened, which was yesterday. I did feel like I wanted to bring this in because that energy is still sticking with us through today. And it is like body yaddy yaddy. It is, this very Taurian, the first quarter moon was in Taurus. So it's very like taking care of yourself. It's especially with, the shocking news that most of us got at the beginning of this week and the previous week, previous 2 weeks as well. It's like got this like very like home body. Like I want to be safe. I want to feel secure. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything vibe. And that's like that can be very, very true. If you're not feeling that way, that's fine as well. Like everybody feels these things different depending on where your personal chart is sitting with this types of stuff. Some of you may feel really activated, and that's okay too. The next big transit that we've got right now is our full moon, which is going to be in Leo, and that's going to be February 2nd and February 3rd. And that is heart versus collective. There is this push and pull that is happening. So the question is can you serve the collective without losing yourself? Are you able to serve the collective without losing yourself? And the other portion is where are you dimming yourself? I want you to ask that question, right? These two questions. Ask yourself, where are you losing yourself? And where are you dimming yourself? I'm going to be quiet for a little while so you can ask yourself those questions. Again, where are you dimming yourself? And can you serve the collective without losing yourself? So, do we have got a comment in there is giving yourself a hug? And I don't want to go anywhere. Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, that's very true for the past 2 days. Very, very true. And I think I know that's a truth for you right now, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like sit, stay, process, be.
Yeah, and I was feeling that when we do that, we may not get the touch that we need. This is an opportunity to give ourselves that touch. So giving ourselves a hug with that feeling of, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be in the world with other people. I don't want to interact. And it just felt like really grounding. And oh, yeah, I have a body.
I did that last night. I was like, I need to take a bath tonight, even though it was like way past my bedtime already. I was like, I'm taking a bath tonight, and I went and I soaked in the bath, and I was like, I want some of those like bubble suddy things from Lush that I have, and like I just sat there and just like was like, like rubbed my skin and just like felt it, and like it felt so so good. So yeah, like take care of yourself, especially today and yesterday. Like, I'll put that in there. We're all dimensional time travelers. Take care of yourself yesterday, guys. It's important. Oh my
I
gosh.
love that. But yeah.
Oh
And
man.
and where our senses are around the things that you're saying, I feel sometimes in my emotions get amped up in response to things that you're saying, and sometimes it's in my body. So whatever your senses are, um, that may be where you're getting pings from what we're sharing with you.
Good distinction. Thanks for that, Bonnie. All right, we got the last one. So, next one that's coming up is Saturn at 28 degrees Pisces. This is the final test. This is the completion of karmic cycles. This is the complete dissolving of old structures. And it's called like the closing act, right? Because we're going to be moving, Pisces is going to be going into Aries on February 13th. This
Mm,
is right before the Lunar New Year. Right before the Lunar New Year. So, right now, like, we want, like, really to be like choosing to actively complete any karmic cycles. And what's crazy, you guys want the hack for this? The hack for completing a karmic cycle, you just have to say it's complete and then trust that it is. That's literally it.
mm.
That's it. You don't have to do all this fucking crazy work. You don't have to go and get regressed 1,001 times. Sorry, regressionists and hypnotists. But you literally, all you have to fucking do is say, that cycle's done and trust it.
Mm.
That's it. It's that fucking easy. Just funny. It's sometimes the easiest things are the hardest, right? You know?
Yeah, and I have a quick tip for people who need a physical thing. If you think of putting all of that karma into a tiny little bubble outside your body, and then when you say it's done, you pop it.
We used to do that. There was this incredible community event in Austin. I want to say here in Austin, but I'm still not living in Austin yet. It's hilarious. But there was this amazing community event that we would do that we would spend an evening and we would set like these intentions, like this collective intention, and we'd fill the bubble up with all of those intentions and all of the goodness. And then at the end of the event, there was like a bubble popping ceremony that we would just burst it out into the world. Ugh. I love yours though too, is putting any of those karmic cycles or anything and popping it for me. So my dad's an intuitive as well, right? And he plays in like the spirituality and psychic realms. You guys might get to meet him one of these days. Incredibly, incredibly intelligent man. But I remember I was having a lot of difficulty with the thing, and I was like, Dad, what do I do with this? What do I do with the intrusive thoughts? And he was like, dragonflies. You just put them in a package and you tie them to a dragonfly. And it was like, oh, thanks, bro. And like, so whenever an intrusive thought, I tie it in I put it in a little package, and I'm like, here, who wants to take it? Oh, this time it's a dragon. Oh, this time it's a dragonfly. Oh, that one's a fairy. Oh, that one's a butterfly. Here, you guys take it. Thank you. And they just take it off.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cute. He was like, oh, it's dragonflies. You got to give it to the dragonflies. So fucking cute.
So if you have wings as a spiritual being, if you have wings, it may be the creature that your wings are coming through the most alive right now, um, to carry those things away. And it's okay to release them.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
Sometimes we
need
need
it.
that permission.
Yeah. Let it go, dude. Let it go. You don't have to have any more of these cycles at all. You don't want them. So, I got a question for you, Bonnie.
I'm
It's been kind
ready.
of a short one today. I mean, would you be okay with closing it off a little bit early?
Oh,
Or do
for
you want to
sure.
stay on?
No, I can. Let's just close it out like usual.
Cool.
Let's see, were there any other messages?
I want to ask if there's any other questions that feel like they need to come through in chat too.
That was what I was tuning into.
Thanks, babe. All right, let's sit and see. We're gonna give some space for any other questions that need to come through. Anybody that is watching the replays or here live, feel free to send them on over.
Mm.
Oh, I just got one. Yeah. Okay. It's fear and what to do with the fear right now because there's a lot of fear that's happening. The light workers, can be hit just as hard as the rest of us. Let me sit with that for a moment. I don't know, Bonnie, do you have a card for that maybe? And I'm going to sit with it to see what the architects have to say.
Yeah, I was feeling that as well. So everyone take a breath into the fear, maybe find where it is in the body showing up the most, allowing the breath to connect to that space, allowing the messages to come through. And the card is spiritual strength.
We've had that
You are
card before.
held. We have, I've noticed that um, sometimes I have to change decks because the same cards will just keep coming.
I'm getting that
Not that
there's an animal one too.
I was too, yeah.
Cool.
Um, I wanted to call out the nine. There's somebody who needs the nine.
With the nine, which the nine is all about like humanity, like we just closed out the 9 year and we're moving into the 1 year, or the 0 year, as some people like to call it, the 0 1 year. So just be in awareness right now that that nine is all about the greater collective. It is all about the larger scale picture, which is the Aquarius number as well, is what I would consider it. I don't know if that's technically the truth, but feels right.
Mm. We need our resident numerologist who's not online
Mhm.
today. Okay, so I have a question about the fear.
Yeah.
Is this the personal fear, the inner fear, or is this the collective fear?
Yeah, which it is both, right? And that's a good
So yeah.
question to ask yourself, right? I like that question. We've been giving you a lot of questions to ask yourself and reflect on, like, is this mine or is this theirs? And like getting to the distinction, because I'm gonna be a little bitchy here. If you don't check your own fucking fear, you should not be fucking hanging out and trying to hold other people's fear. So check your
Mhm.
shit first, right? Like I am constantly like, am I in a place of fear? The other thing that they showed me, the architects downloaded this whole like little like image scenario, which was like and this is gonna me as EO does not want to say it, but I'm getting very loudly to say this and to explain the scene. So they sent me kind of like this almost like movie like scene of all these people like running around like chickens with their heads cut off, like freaking out and like in the street and being fucking terrified. And they're saying, do it. They're saying, do it. Which I hate this message. I personally fucking hate this message. And yet they're like, no, trust us. Like, it's like if you need to go outside and scream in the fucking street, go fucking do it. If you need to like go yell and like they're showing me people like doing this, like running around and like, like freaking the fuck out. If you need to go fucking do it, do it. Do it. Thank you. Because that's what's going to help you release your own fear so then you can help others. Thanks, guys.
Yes, that's exactly what I was getting at.
Did we
Okay.
really have to take that entire fucking journey to get there? They're like, no, but it was entertaining. Thanks. But fucking
Stupid
guys.
fox. No, it's the fox energy, the trickster.
It is. It's
Yeah.
totally the Fox energy. Oh my gosh. Fox has been showing up
So
everywhere.
also a
27,
nine.
also a nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is think on your feet. And what was coming through is exactly what you said, which is point your feet and move. Stand up. Even if you take like 1 millimeter of a step, you have to move your feet, move your body to release the fear, to get out of the state you're in. Otherwise, you end up feeding it back to yourself.
Yeah. Fucking important, guys. Yeah. So run around like a chicken with its head cut off. Be
Because
as
the
scared
fox
as
will
you want
get
to
you.
be. Yeah. Because the fox will get you. Let's add some more fucking nightmare terror into this. God, I love a good fox. I saw a fox at my new property. There's a fox that hangs out
Oh,
there.
cool.
I know. I'm
Nice.
I'm worried that we're gonna scare him when we start construction. Yeah. I want him to become my
He'll be
buddy.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah. They're foxes. They're
They're
resilient little
foxes.
fuckers with big, bushy, adorable tails.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel that feels good. That feels complete to me.
Yes.
Yeah, if there's anything else that y'all want to know about or ask questions about, I'm, looking forward to you guys watching this recording and seeing, if there's anything that you want to add to it, if there's any questions that you have in the moment. We will be getting all of these videos up on YouTube very, very soon. And I am really excited about that. And yeah, come join the Some Society, come hang out. We are a school community. It is spelled SOMAE, society. So come and hang out. It's a free group of collective weirdos and spirits and intuitives and numerologists and energy healers. Like, come hang out, come be with us. Yeah, I'd love to have you. I would really love to have you there.
And you're needed. You're needed in this world. You're needed to be around community. And we'd love to support that.
Thank you so much for tuning in and tuning on. That felt like that's something you would say. It feels very out of place in my mouth. Again, I am Io Ash Misako. I am your, resident channel guide, reader, lady pants of void and chaos and whatever the hell else is going on out there.
And I'm Bonnie Sunshine, the archer, also known as Sassifox, because I'm sassy and I'm a mischievous little fox. Nom 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 nom.
Love you so much. And tune in next week and we'll see what happens after that.